Wanting to own your home outright is not a mistake. It is one of the most deeply human financial instincts there is. Getting the mortgage gone, clearing the debt, owning the roof over your head free and clear. There is nothing irrational about that goal. And if your parents told you to get the mortgage paid off before anything else, they weren't wrong to say it. They were working from what they knew. But here is the thing. The question was never whether paying off the mortgage is a good idea. The question is whether it is the best use of every dollar you put toward it, above the minimum repayment. Because on $80,000 a year, the answer might not be what you expect. Here is what the numbers actually show. Take someone on $80,000 a year, 38 years old, mortgage on the go, and they decide to put $500 a month extra toward it. At today's variable rates of around 6.5%, that is a solid, guaranteed return. Over 20 years, that extra effort saves them roughly $245,000 in interest. That is not a small number. But if that same person takes the same $500 hit to their lifestyle and instead directs it through salary sacrifice into super, they end up with approximately $336,000 in additional super at 60. Same monthly impact on take-home pay, same income, same person. A $91,000 difference. That gap does not come from picking better investments or timing the market. It comes from one thing, and it is sitting inside the tax system, hiding in plain sight. On $80,000 a year, your marginal tax rate is 32.5%. Add the Medicare levy, and every dollar you earn above that threshold is taxed at 34.5 cents in the dollar. When you put money extra on the mortgage, you are using dollars that have already been taxed at that rate. Every $500 you redirect to the loan started as roughly $760 before the ATO took its share. When you salary sacrifice into super, something different happens. Those contributions are taxed at 15%, not 34.5%. That is a 19.5 cent saving on every single dollar before the money has even been invested. So on $760 of salary sacrifice, the government effectively returns about $148 straight away in the form of a reduced tax bill. After the 15% contributions tax, $645 lands in your super fund. That saving compounds inside super over 20 years at a long-run return of around 7%. The mortgage path delivers a guaranteed 6.5% after-tax return. That is real. That is valuable. But the super path starts with an immediate 17.5 percentage point tax advantage before a single cent has been invested. Let's run both paths for the same person. 38 years old, $80,000 a year, $500 a month available above the minimum mortgage repayment. Path A, they put that $500 directly on the loan. At 6.5%, the extra effort saves around $245,000 in interest over 20 years. At 60, they own the home outright, no debt. That is a meaningful outcome, and it would feel like winning. Path B, they salary sacrifice $760 a month instead. Because of the tax saving at their marginal rate, the hit to take-home pay is the same $500. After the 15% contributions tax, $645 lands in super each month. At 7% over 20 years, that compounds to around $336,000 in additional super. Same lifestyle, a $91,000 gap in favor of super. Now, here is where most people push back. What about the assets test? The family home is exempt from the age pension means test. Doesn't paying it off protect a tax-free asset? Yes, the exemption is real, but it is only useful if you can retire without relying on the pension to cover the shortfall. If super is underfunded because 20 years went into extra mortgage repayments, the exemption does not make up the difference. It protects an asset you already own. It does not fund your income in retirement. The assets test exemption is a reason to own the home. It is not a reason to overpay it. So why do Australians keep doing this, even when someone runs the numbers and shows them the gap? Because money is not purely rational. The mortgage balance is tangible. You can watch it fall. You can feel the debt shrinking month by month, year by year. It's a concrete, visible marker of progress that a super balance cannot match. Your super sits somewhere abstract, untouchable until 60, managed by people you have never met, invested in things you cannot see. There's the cultural weight of it too. In Australia, owning the home outright carries a social meaning that a super balance simply does not. Your parents said to get the mortgage gone. Your mates at the pub would not. There's no dinner table conversation about maximizing concessional contributions. And underneath it all is loss aversion. Debt feels like something that could hurt you. Paying it down feels like removing a threat. The super path feels like taking on risk. That instinct is not irrational. It's human. But on $80,000, it has a name. $91,000. So what should you actually do with this? First, run your own numbers this week. The MoneySmart Super Calculator at moneysmart.gov.au lets you model different salary sacrifice amounts against your current balance and income. Plug in your actual salary and see what consistent salary sacrifice does to your projected balance at 60. It takes 10 minutes. Second, if the numbers move you, contact your payroll team. Setting up salary sacrifice is an HR form, not a financial overhaul. The concessional contribution cap for 2025-26 is $30,000 a year. Most people on $80,000 are nowhere near it, which means there's genuine room to move. Third, the honest exception. If you are within 5 years of retirement and your super is already on track, around $595,000 for a single person or $690,000 for a couple per the ASFA Comfortable Retirement benchmarks, then redirecting extra dollars to the mortgage makes sense. Clear the debt before you lose the income to service it. But if you are in your 30s or 40s, the maths points clearly in one direction. Paying off the mortgage feels like the safe move, and in many ways it is. But safe and optimal are not the same thing. On $80,000, the gap between them is $91,000. If this landed for you, the next video goes even further. We look at what 50-year-old Australians specifically need to do right now to retire on their own terms, not someone else's timeline. It is worth your time. And if this changed how you think about your mortgage, share it with someone in the same position. They need to see these numbers too.